Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. For some of you, it is now March. What should you be doing? This is going to be a great live because I've been talking about dreams all year long and how many of you are going to be having dreams. And these dreams are going to help you create what it is that you're going to be doing this year. And it's going to be the foundational baseline for what you're here to create. Hey, Sonny. And so now it's March. And now we're going to talk about those things that you're going to do to be in line with the law of rhythm. With the law of rhythm. So that you can be swimming with the slipstream and not against it. Right? With the slipstream and not against it. We are human beings, superior beings. We shouldn't follow the way of the salmon. Right? So this is going to be great because we're going to have, I'm going to talk about basically the kind of thing that most of us should be doing in, say, March, springtime. The true new year versus the false new year. The false new year was on January the 1st. That is the false new year. The false new year was January the 1st. That is winter time. That is not the time for the new. That is the time to sleep. That is the time for dormancy. That is the time when things do not grow. That is the time when things are laid to rest. Hey, JC, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. JC is one of our moderators, right? That's not a new year. That is part of the upside down world that we live in. Technically known as the inverted reality, which is phasing away. But it's phasing away due to our awareness. That is the only way it fades away. Doesn't phase away if we're not recognizing it. Doesn't phase away if we don't see its inversion. And the importance of seeing inversions. What are inversions? Inversions are things placed in ways that they should not be. What should be down is placed up. What is east is placed west. And we get into these systems, these inverted systems, and we want to be successful, but we're running west trying to find a sunrise. So you can work as hard as you can running west to try to find that sunrise. And you can be really determined and have everything lined up, but you'll never find it. Why? Because you're always going in the wrong direction. So this inverted reality is created so that we keep doing that. So when we celebrate New Year on January the 1st, it is not when the year starts. So knowing that, and why would they set New Year's up on January the 1st when everything's asleep? It's wintertime. It's dormant. Thank you. That's right. Tap the screen, get the likes up so that we get more people in here. Thank you so much for that, JC. So why would that happen? Because see, this reality, the one that is dying, but it's still alive, so we have to understand how it functions so we can help it along a little bit quicker, because it is alive only in your mind. This is why I am out here speaking, and many of people like me are out here bringing out these messages. Because we say a dying system, it is only dying because we are waking up to ourselves and understanding the fallacy within it. And then we slightly make decisions that don't support it. And that's how it dies. And that's how the new one comes. And that's how the new one comes in. Because everything you see is the product of a mind. Everything. Everything you see is either a mind or the product of a mind. And so when we realize that that's not really the true new year, and we decide not to participate in it, and making resolutions and thinking that we're going to plant seeds on January the 1st, you ever wonder why resolutions don't work? It isn't because people are lazy of mind and all of that. It is because there's no support for a resolution on January, the beginning, the so-called first year of the month, of first month of the year. There's no support for you there. None. Because you're not in line with the law of rhythm, and rhythm is in everything, and that's what tonight's about. The law of rhythm. When you're in the law of rhythm, everything's possible because you know when to do something and when not to do it. You want to know when to do something during the month? You follow the law of rhythm, which is indicated by the moon. When the moon is waxing, that's the time to start manifesting. It's building. The moon indicates, if you don't believe in the moon, if you've got these theories in your head about the moon, that's okay. Don't do your manifestation based on the moon. See the moon as the thing that tells you where the law of rhythm is working. And focus on the law of rhythm. But use the moon as your indicator, because the only way you know in a very clear way where the law of rhythm is supporting you is through the moon cycles. So when the moon is waxing, you know that it's building up. And that's when you should start putting your manifestations in. The law of rhythm is supporting you. And when the moon is waning, you know, waning, things are leaving, it's dying down. That's when you get rid of stuff. Good question. How can we ignore the 3D in order to manifest our subconscious desires in the 4D? Actually, what I'm talking about is in line with that. The first thing you want to do is you want to be in line with the law of rhythm, right? To manifest. And so you don't have to ignore the 3D. The 3D has no impact on your manifestations if you do not carry thought forms that hinder what it is that you're going to do. You must believe in yourself, meaning believe in the creator that is within you. The creator that is within you. Okay? You must not only believe in that, you must know that it's going to happen. And so what I think you mean by 3D is the fact that you need money to do things here. So how do you ignore the fact that you need money to do that thing that you want to do? You ignore all of those things that are placed there that have to do with survival. So you must understand that your manifestation abilities should never be tied to anything called survival. What do I mean by that? Going to work, paying the bills, things that you need to do to stay alive, take a shower, cook your food, eat. All of those things are survival based. They're biologically based. So you must remove all of that from your manifestation, because when you're in that mindset, you're in the finite mind, finite body, the finite mind, which is important. You're in the limited mind of who you are. You're in the finite side of who you are. And when you're manifesting, you must be outside of that. You must be in your infinite mind, your infinite self. You must be out of the the left brain logical mind and become completely illogical and unreasonable. You must be in the right brain, the divergent mind, the creator mind. By the way, people always say be logical, but do you know what they're looking for today? They're looking for divergent thinkers. People who can think and through creative ways. Innovation and technological advances in science, math, and engineering, and all those other things, art even, right? You need to be in your right brain for that. You know what they're asking for? They're asking for people who are creative in the innovative fields. They're lacking that. And so the problem is that we have been dumbed down and shut into our logical minds, which only works on memory. The logical mind is a memory bank. It's a library. It is not a creative mind. It is not true intelligence. It is memory. And you must go to the right brain to create. So in technology, they're begging our schools to stop dumbing down people and create fertile soil for the very creative minds that are born onto this planet. 98% of children are geniuses by genius standards. When they're 4 and 5, they're geniuses. Because genius is measured by how well you create. How well you can take challenges that have never been faced before and solve them outside of anything you've got going on in your memory or your logical mind. So you must be on that side of who you are, the side of spirit, the side of your mind that is the creative mind, and the side of you that sees no limit. That's how you get away from the 3D. It's all in your mind. 3D, 4D, 5D, they are states of mind. So you go to your creative mind and you manifest, and you don't worry about how it's going to happen, because that's the 3D side. When it's going to happen, that's the 3D side. And who's going to do what? That's the 3D side. You just need to know why. And the why is what drives your emotions. And then it materializes. Everything that you see once did not exist in the physical. And so when you are in that right brain, and when you're in the on your spiritual side, you are you're on the side where all possibilities happen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. So when you're in your creative mind, that's where all the possibilities happen. In your creative mind. Not from the mind that you go to school with. Not from any of the college education that you got. The creative mind isn't sitting in that stuff. They don't even address that. You're more stupid when you come out of college than you were before you entered school, period. This is not me saying that. This is our scientists saying that. NASA conducted a study in 1992, and they hired 2 doctors and said, we want to be able to really test our scientists and our engineers for their ability to create. And so they stretched that out and they test the population. And they found that 98% of children between the ages of 4 and 5 were geniuses. Between the ages of 4 and 5 were geniuses by that standard, by the test that NASA had these 2 scientists create, these two expert doctors create. And by the time they got to grade school, it was more like 30%. By the time they got out of grade school, it was like 12%. By the time they got out of, don't quote me on the exact numbers, by the time they got out of college, it was 2%. That's a problem. Because if we are to progress, we must be divergent thinkers, meaning think people who know how to go to the creative side of our minds, the artistic side, the side that doesn't know limitations, right? So that's how you manifest without the barriers. And you must have emotion behind it. That is the power of emotion. You will not manifest if you don't have the emotion behind it. It must be something you want. Just like you were when you were a kid and you wanted that Christmas present. And you wanted that you went to bed, you thought about it. You woke up, you talked to anybody who would hear. If they gave you a second, you roped them in for as long as you could to tell them about what you wanted. My birthday is coming up. We're going to have a birthday party. That excitement. You must dig deep and bring that. That's the fuel to your manifestations. That's it. You must go to that inner child. She and he, that inner child powers your manifestations. And you do that through the emotions. You get excited for what you want. You go to bed. You think about it. You talk to your subconscious mind. The last thing you go to sleep about it. You wake up in the morning. First thing you see, you wake up, you got a picture of it or whatever it is. And you just keep doing it. You're not longing and wanting and sitting there waiting. It's just something that's such a must that it becomes a part of you. And that's how you get it, because it then becomes you and you bring it out. And you bring it out. And a little more to it than that, but that's pretty much, if you do that, 95% of your manifestations will come up. The other 5% will be because you are carrying things that prevent that manifestation from coming. And we're not doing manifestation course right now, but later on. I'm thinking about doing a course on it. All right. So it's March. What should you do? March, for most of you here, let's just say springtime. You might be in another place in the world where March is not springtime. But let's just say March, because for a lot of people watching this, it's March. And if it's not, just think about springtime where you live. This is the time to plant seeds. If you look outside, nature tells you exactly what to do. Nature tells you exactly what to do. What's nature doing right now? I saw a bird on a tree yesterday, in between some picking and plucking out pieces of dried foliage, because that bird's about to go make a nest. Ooh. See how simple that is? We should be doing the same, because we are also nature. You want to start manifesting the best time of the year? Now. You want to start creating something? The best time to do it is now. Plant those seeds. Springtime. Have a dream of something you want to make, whether it's little dreams of that thing. Start doing it now. Everything is supporting you now. And even so more now than ever. Right? You start writing down what it is you want accomplished. If you didn't do it during winter time, not too late. You could do that in an hour. And every day you take a step towards that. And you'll be amazed how that thing starts coming. The things that support you start coming. Right? You want to write a book? Suddenly you start seeing ads on writing books. Ads on how to do it easier. You'll start seeing those things. And you act on them. Right? So March is the time to plant seeds. Everything in nature is doing that. See? The birds, nature sets that for them. Okay. They automatically, instinctively do that. We, on the other hand, we and our consciousness can choose to do it or not to do it. Because at this level of consciousness, we choose whether we want to advance or whether we want to go backwards. So let's look at some questions before I continue this convo. It's March. What should I be doing? That's right. Energy Flow has. When she finishes it, we're probably going to do, no, I'll leave it up to her, a little video on it. And she's literally done it in a matter of weeks. Stuff, amazing stuff. I'm stuck wondering where to start. Then where you need to be, what you need to do is deal with that stuck. You deal with that. That's the issue. Because you need to just move and start. But sometimes that can be difficult. What is it that you're stuck on? What's so hard about starting? If you want to drink some water, you get up, you start towards that faucet, you put a glass and you put water in it. What's the problem? If you want to start dinner, you go in that kitchen, you find out what you want, and you start. What's the problem? It's the same process. So just find out what it is energetically that is preventing you from starting. Is it analysis paralysis? So maybe in all these issues, is this native chick, all these issues, what you need to do is start on the deep inner work. And I'm saying that to you based on the other lives that you've been in. That's where you need to start. You need to start on yourself, the deep inner work, and start getting rid of the stuff that gets in the way before you start doing anything outside of yourself. Guy, that's a question that's too complex for this situation. Quantum jumping, vision, reality shifting, and all of that needs to be done on its own. And you shift your reality. You shift reality only by shifting your own. You cannot shift anybody else's, and we do that every day, right? We do that every day. Quantum jumping is. I'll just touch on them. Quantum jumping has many, many levels. Everybody can quantum jump in their mind, but the levels at which that can occur gets less and less in terms of how many can do it. The higher the level of the quantum jumping that you're doing. Some people do it naturally. One 555. Fantastic. You love springtime, Rashika? Yeah, I love it too. This is the time. To anything that you want to do. And I know you, Rashika is on the 8th is doing a discovery call for spiritual coaching. That's fertilizing the seeds of your inner game. Your inner game. Which is phenomenal. And springtime, again, is the time to start doing the things that you desire. Let's see if there are any questions that I need to address. Completely green education. I swear most of it is just brain fog. Distractions from reality. Yeah. It is. It is. We should not be giving these people as much power in the education of our children as we have. It's turned into a outright joke. In the United States, they do interviews of people going to college. They can't even name the vice presidents. They're teaching them rubbish, things that pit people against each other. Like going on with the question, I won't spend too much time. What's a woman? And they've made a mess out of that because we've allowed them to create a war on the feminine here on the planet. How can you divide the survival from the creation? That's a good question. Because when we say survival, I have to break survival down a little bit. Because we often hear people wear survival as a badge of honor. It is no badge of honor. Survival is something that highly advanced beings such as ourselves should quickly accomplish so that we can really accomplish so we can really get to being ultimate superior beings and super creators. Right? Rats, roaches, and earthworms do a great job of surviving. Do they not? Why are we lowering ourselves to the level of survival of beings that are on the lower scale of the evolutionary ladder than we are? Right? We shouldn't. Now, we must survive. But what I'm talking about is mindset and mentality. Because you see, I know we have a challenge in that there are many, those who are driving the agenda in our reality have created a situation that is inhuman, that is not kind to any living being. To work for a living. Think about the term. Work for a living is disgusting. We should work for a sustenance, just like nature. The animal kingdom, they do everything they need to survive, to sustain. And then they live. They don't then take that extra time to create excess. And most of the excess we don't even take advantage of. It goes to another person or a small group of people. And the excess we participate in is destructive to the planet. Right? So we're here to survive and then to quickly become self-actualized. So how do you separate it? You don't. You can't separate your biology. You can't. What you do is, while you're doing the things to survive, you work on the self. And it's not just you and your mind. You have your ancestors and your higher self. They send you messages all the time. You must get used to this is my attitude. I look around and everything I see is speaking to me. That's how I go first. And then I decide, well, no, it's not speaking to me. But you know how you heard the term, you walk into a room, shoot first, ask questions later? My attitude towards what I see and I observe, everything is talking to me. And that's my attitude. Everything. I see a TikTok, I'm on TikTok, I see a contribution from someone, I think, poof, and often they're talking to me. I go down the street, I hear something, I see an ad, I hear something, and because I have that attitude, I often get the communications that are supposed to come. And I'm going to tell you this right now, most of the communication I get has to do with things that I'm doing or have to do or need to do, or manifestations that I'm bringing in. So once you start looking, then you start seeing the communication everywhere. It's almost as if everything starts to serve you once you start paying attention. You see the answers to your questions everywhere if you're looking. You see the answers to all of your questions, your desires everywhere if you're looking and you're not putting down silly rules about how you can be communicated to. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was like, you know what? It's important when I do my books, you got to do voice books where people can hear. Because some people might be blind. Some people do better with audiobooks. And you know, one of my skills is communication and communicating with people. No more than 2 hours later, I see an ad on YouTube of how to do it and how to structure it and do it properly. 2 hours later. If I just said that and just forgot about it, and said, I would have scrolled right past that. But I look for communication through everything. Everything. And you'll be surprised how quickly your manifestations happen because the instructions come for what you should do. And you just do them. So, yes, you must focus on survival. You got to work, you got to bring money in, you got to pay the bills, etc. But schedule a time for yourself. Write down the desires that you want, because even though you're doing all those things, you can still have the desires that you want right in the forefront of your mind and your heart. Right? In the forefront of your mind and your heart. Because you can't ignore the fact, the survival game, which is security, food, shelter, warmth. Then after that, safety. Then after that, family and relationships. These are needs, so there's no ignoring them. They are human needs. They're not wants. You don't want to be warm and all that. You don't want to eat. You don't want to have shelter over your head. You need it. Much more important is beyond want. Ability to feel needed, cared for, and to care for others. That's a human need. The next level above the survival is to be able to contribute, give back. That's a need. Right? So you're not going to ignore any of those things. But keep manifesting. Keep thinking about the things that you want. And do it from the heart. And always think about the things that you want that is for your greatest good. And the greatest good of others. You might not be able to see how it's good for others. But if you go with the heart will take care of that. You don't have to worry about why it's good for others. Just also know that if you get it, you're prosperous. The world is a better place with you being prosperous. That's good for others. Right? But if you go with the heart and you go, look, I want this, but I want the heart to decide. You drop into your heart. And I give my heart precedence over the mind when it comes to the things that should come into my life. Then you get it exactly as you should without any of the negative aspects. Because if you manifest from here, duality is here. You'll get the good and the bad that goes with it. But if you manifest from the heart, there's no duality in the heart. You just get it as without all the nonsense. Exactly as you should get it, when you should get it. So you just simply, the knowing of what you want is here, but drop it down to here and manifest it from here. Always saying and always giving the heart precedence over the things that you want. The heart. That's right, Energy Trove. We are the creator. How does the moon help the chakras? The moon don't help the chakras. The moon's just a part of the environment. Johnny Star, the moon's just a part of the... Are you still here? Let me know, Johnny, because I only want to answer questions for people who are still here. And that was a while back. So I've been drinking and eating green. Fantastic. Great stuff. Thank you for your piece. Thank you, Alice. I appreciate the kind words. I desire to know myself. That is the most important desire there is. That is the most important desire that you can have. And so, as you say this, look around for everything that starts to point you in that direction, and you'll see it. You're an auditory learner? Yeah. That's good. Yeah, yeah. So I had that thing, and lo and behold, I haven't watched the whole thing about how to do it, publish audiobooks and all of that, but I'm going to do it because lots of people are audio learners, and then have it also written for those, because there's something about reading that expands the mind as well. Oh, fantastic. You're here because you looked up 1010 and found the... There you go. You're supposed to be here. Welcome. Wilda. Welcome. Good to have you here. Exactly, Gabby. The brutal wars in Gaza, and it's inhuman. But I have good news for you and all of you here. The universe does not tolerate tyranny. And it might look like nothing is being done because you're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of it. We're experiencing and seeing it. And it just looks like nothing is being... Oh, but trust me. It is being done. These people think they're getting away with it. They're not. They are desperate beings. And so, a little galactic history. I'm going to give you a little galactic history. This particular part of our galaxy was taken over. There was 53 different star systems. Little star systems. And they were taken over by a group of beings that we call the Draconians and a few others. And they have been defeated in every other single system. They're here and there, spread out a little bit. And this is the last place. And they have been trapped here. They can't get out. So much of the systems, and I'm skipping over a whole bunch of stuff because those who have won the battles and have freed these other systems and planets are here working on this one. And they could easily rid this place of these beings like that. Except for one thing. This is a free will territory. And we must choose to get rid of them. This is a free will territory. What are the hallmarks of these beings? The ones that were kicked out of the other places. I'm going to give you a few hallmarks that these beings, that they leave. One of the things that they do is they have hierarchy. Hierarchy. You know how all of our corporations and work? Boss at the top, few people in charge, and everybody else at the bottom receive very little for what they have created. And the people at the top receive most of it. That's one of the hallmarks of these draconian, let's just call them negative agenda beings. Religion and worship is another legacy of these beings. You're placed under. You give your energy, you give everything away for nothing. You're promised something that you don't even know exists. Or you go to heaven. You're told to believe in a creator outside of yourself. That is one of the strangest things in the universe, but quite normal here for many of us. But most of us are waking up to that. Scarcity in a planet that has so much abundance. These beings operate on scarcity. These beings operate on war and division. You see? But the irony is this: they have no power unless you give it to them. Who's fighting the wars? We are. Who's participating in giving our governments and corporations the power that they have? We are. So we must get to a level where we decide not to participate, and then the assistance can come. You see, we are the ones that are going to save ourselves. No one will. The planet herself, she's already evolving. It's time for us to choose. And we're choosing. Many of us are choosing to evolve with her, and some of us are making other choices. Right? And some of us are making other choices. The spiritual awakening process is happening the way it's happening so that these beings do not have as much power as many people give them credit for. Because if it was up to them, this conversation that all of us here are having would never occur. I could tell you right now, I would have been wiped out of existence a long time ago. I wouldn't exist today. So how do I know that we're going to win this game and free this planet completely? The planet's free. It's not the planet, it's us. Because all I'm talking about exists in here. This is what the war is over here. The mind. So when you start manifesting, when you start planting seeds and creating, you work against the agenda of these beings without even trying. You defeat them just without even trying. And believe me, not many of them are left. They have already been defeated. But it's up to us to finish the job by retaking our mind. And you do that by creating. You do that by manifestation. You do that naturally. It's not some difficult thing. You desire something, you have emotion about that thing, and you bring that thing through the heart, and you're golden. If you're not a vibrational match to that thing, your mind, your subconscious mind will tell you, and not only just tell you, it'll tell you what you need to do. When you go to bed at night, your subconscious mind is not restricted to your body. It goes out and it finds the answers. That's how manifestation works. And suddenly you start seeing things show up in your life. Answers to your questions through other people, through billboards that you see when you're driving your car, through ads, through everything. Nothing's restricted. Your subconscious mind works for you. You must see it as a being that only knows you, because it does. This is actually science. The subconscious mind does not know anything but you. How does it know where you're at? It knows where you're at based on how you feel about things. If you feel you need a new car, and you got an idea what that car is, suddenly you start seeing that car on the freeway everywhere. It's not a mistake. It starts bringing it. Oh, is this the thing you want? Every time you see that car, yeah, that's the car I want. You'd say that. You literally do a thing, you make a motion, and you bring a happy emotion to yourself. Yeah, that's what I want. Oh, I want to write that book. That's the thing. It's that easy. That's what I want. And you start moving. Your subconscious mind will go to work for you. You don't need a course for that to happen. You simply need to remove the barriers that you've put on yourself, the limitations that you've put on yourself. That's where the barrier is. And you face it. Why do I have this? How do you remove it? Why do I think I don't deserve this? Why? Why? And the inner critic within you will say, you don't deserve it. You're not this, you're not that. That inner critic, you know why it's there? Because it only brings to you the doubts that you have within yourself that you actually believe are true. And the minute you start facing them, the inner critic starts to die down. Because you're actually facing those things that tell you you're less than. So when you do things like work with the law of rhythm to bring things like starting and planning and doing things because now it's March, you start working with your creative side. Watch and see how many things get in the way of you doing that. The minute you see things getting in the way of you doing what it is that you want to do to manifest, that's your sign that you're in your powerhouse. And you ignore those things because the reality brings them to you because it's an entity. It doesn't want you to create. You create equals joy. It wants pain and suffering. It wants pain and suffering. But when you're in your creative juices, creative flow, you're in your joy. That's how you slay the demon. That's how you slay the demon. Okay. I notice everything always trying to stop me from meditating. Yes, that's not a coincidence, Sanji. That's not a coincidence. You need to just put your foot down. And whatever it is that's getting in the way, you knock it out of the way. The first thing is to recognize it. The second thing is to accept that it's happening. And then move in the direction that you planned on anyway. And you unabashedly rid anything that gets in the way of your meditation. Or it will continue. Yes, we want to move in. We see the city on lots of cars and tags. That's right, Rashika. See? Because that's your subconscious mind going to work. That's how it talks to you. It doesn't speak English. It doesn't know linear time, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It only knows what you want. And it starts to, the sign that you start to see it is because it's starting to bring it. It already is happened in the inner realm or the realm of spirit. It just needs to be dropped into the physical. And that's how it gets dropped. Little hints, little signs. Yeah, that's a sign that your manifestation is happening. How to protect yourself from any bonfires and toxicity. I'll get to that in a little bit. I want to stay with this flow here, okay? Alex, I will get to that in a second. Don't forget about being grateful. Thank you, Native Chick. Thank you for that. Gratitude Be grateful. When your subconscious mind brings stuff to you, be grateful to it. Be grateful to your ancestors. Be grateful to your higher self. Be grateful to everything, for everything, and really mean it. I heard Apple AirPods can scan your brain. That's probably true. The technologies here that we don't even know about can scan your brain and send you ads. My quick answer to that is you should not worry yourself about anything you can do nothing about. You only focus on the things that you can do something about. Because if you focus on things that you cannot do anything about, you'll end up being feckless, meaning useless. Your sphere of power is this, and it is indeed the only power that exists. Because if they scan your brain and send you ads, do you have to participate? Do you have to watch those ads? Do you have to click into them? No, you don't. You still have the power. You got the power. Hello, sexy everyday. All right, thanks all of you for being here. Share the live, like up the live so we can get people who this is going to be constructive for in. How are you, master? That's a question. How are you? You are a master when you find out who you are. The only reason why you don't think or know you're a master is because you don't know yourself. Your most important job is to find out who you are. And indeed, defy the taboo against finding out who you are. And by doing so, you'll find out how you'll find the master which is within you. Not a sexy answer, but the only answer that you need to hear. All is mind. I choose a life of freedom. Exactly. I want to go here and make sure I see if I'm missing. Do you think we will outshine these oppressors and reach Christ consciousness as a whole? Yes, it's already started. The mere fact that, again, evidence that we are here, me, you, and all of us here having this conversation is one of the many proofs of that. Because this kind of conversation was never supposed to happen. The fact that you are in the realization that you're in was never supposed to happen. The fact that you're even using the term Christ consciousness. You see? But if you listen to a lot of the people, even in the so-called spiritual community, they're all doom and gloom, aren't they? Don't listen to those people. They're all plants, most of them. To get you to think what is actually happening and what you're seeing happening is actually not happening. They're all plants. You be the one that brings the consciousness here by increasing your awareness, your knowledge, and living the truth. Not your truth, because the truth is not subjective, but living in truth, the objective truth. And that's how it'll spread. And the Christ consciousness is already here. It's already happening. The only thing is we must be given the choice to choose it or not. Many are choosing it. Many won't. They don't count. Some will, some won't. Doesn't matter. You're the only one that matters. The journey, been sober 2 weeks now. It only gets easier. Oh, congratulations, Alex. Congratulations for that. And welcome, welcome here. Fear. Of any, under the influence of any, don't want to live my life under the influence of any substance. Yes. Because you'll find that it'll draw you closer to who you truly are. Does full moon affect or help with clarity? I have decided to stay sober as long as I can. Alex, you know, that I'm just being told to let you know that you can stay sober. And it's something that you're here to solve and to take out of your ancestry. It's in the ancestry, which is, by the way, generally when it comes to substance abuse, 99% of it comes from the ancestry, from your ancestors. Most of the time. Most of the time. And so, can you tell people that activate? There's no activating of free will. We have it. It's here. We use it every day. You just used it to come onto this live. So there's no activating free will. It is a part of the reality. JC, it's just a part of the no activation needed. It's a part of the reality. So I suggest ancestral work to really continue it and to get it out of the energetics and from the spiritual side. And I have the ancestral course that I've linked down below there. You can check that out. It's next to the star with the circle. How do you work on energy vampires and that kind of stuff? The first thing is to be aware. These people or energy vampires tend to come around, and whenever you get finished with them, you feel drained. And then you find out when you listen to them that they're really not really, they'll ask you things, but it's like they're just asking you things to take up your time. They're not really interested. They'll come to you for advice, but they never follow it. And you feel drained. You just get rid of them. There are things you can do to help your energy when you're first starting the journey. Black crystals. In your case, get black tourmaline and wear it around your neck, similar like I'm wearing this lapis lazuli owl. And then cleanse it every day. Just look up how to cleanse it. That's one way to really help with crystals until you get to the point where you build yourself up and you don't need crystals. And then what you can also do is take herbal baths so you can get nature to help you. And then when you work on yourself, herbal baths, meditation, and just being aware of where and who you are around. So I mentioned crystals, herbal baths, salt baths, even just water. You get into the shower and you speak to the water. Water is consciousness. Water is the only thing, the only element that no being has ever claimed to have created. No one. I know many people have come from Christianity and know about the book of Genesis. When Jehovah came, what did he say? He parted the waters. He didn't create the earth, by the way. That's a whole lie. But not even he in that lie could say he created water. Water has no creator. And hint. By the way, darkness was also there. So he's not the creator because he didn't create water and he didn't create darkness. That's right. So when you speak to the water, it is a consciousness. It is 70% of your physical body is water. Water is also the biggest proof and evidence that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transmuted. It's the biggest evidence. If you try to burn water, it turns to steam. Transmutation is what you call that. If you try to get it out of steam by cooling it down, it turns back to water. If you don't like that, you try to freeze it, it turns to a solid. No matter what you do, it just changes its form. You speak to water and you'll get stuff you've never... Why do you think... For all of you here, why do you think you get so many ideas when you're in the shower? Hello? That's right. Because water is a transporter and a bringer of ideas and energy. Water is a cleanser. Water is a bringer of life. Water, 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 water. How did you come here? I just mentioned Genesis, right? What did Jehovah find when he so-called created her? He really didn't. He found darkness and water. How did you come here? How and what were you formed? You were formed in the womb, which is shaped like a planet. You were formed in the womb. And what was in that womb? Water and darkness. And how do these two things relate to you? You use water for everything. Without it, you don't last. Days and you're gone. You're done. You're finished. Use water to help you. Speak to it. It's abundant, even though it's the most powerful substance we have here on earth. It'll cleanse you. You feel like you've got something on you, go in the shower. Speak to the water and then give it gratitude. Alex, build a relationship with water simply by actively and consciously participating with it. Before you drink it, you give it you're grateful, you give it gratitude, thanks. Before you get it to cleanse yourself, you speak to it and you give it gratitude and you say, please cleanse not only my body, my aura, my energy field. Is there anything you have to say to me? Wow, I got this strange thing telling me live will be over if I don't put a square into a thing, man. TikTok, they're just getting out of hand. So, water. Okay, I just gave you a basis as to why water should be given the respect that it should be given. In my greatest spiritual initiation, I am part of no religion, no system, no anything. But my spirit has initiated me many times and many things. And the biggest initiation, the most important one, in my life, in this life, it was water. On the beach. Water taught me the law of rhythm. The law, I haven't mentioned it much, but I'm talking about when to do things. Yeah, I talked about the moon. Everything's in rhythm. Everything ebbs and flows. Water taught me the law of rhythm. I was at the beach and I was going through a spiritual ceremony. Not with people. I'm talking about just me, my spirit, me, myself, and I. And all of the waves were in rhythm. You ever been to the beach and you got wave one coming this way and you look over there one another? No, on this day, every wave was in rhythm, one after the other. It was the water communicating to me and communicating with me the importance of the law of rhythm. I'm a student of the 7 laws that govern the universe. And if these teachings come to you, and they don't come to you, they find you. You don't find them. That teaching came to me, found me. And my greatest lesson in rhythm was taught to me by water. Water holds memory. Work with it. Okay, let me go down to some questions. You probably guys, tonight we have lots of questions, so I'm going to go through. And then we'll talk about things that we should be doing throughout the year. Hey, great healer Lily. Me too. For me, it started with waters spiritually. Oh my God. Yeah. Water's powerful. So happy to hear that. It's good to hear that because, see, this is why I always encourage everybody to participate and say, because I could be saying this and you could be like, oh, yeah, it's Papa Guru. I wasn't there. But when someone else comes in and gives their experience with whatever it is that we're discussing, it adds legitimacy to it because it's not just one person's experience. Oh, that's just coincidence. If you're aware, you'll see how you're communicated to in so many ways. You simply need to pay attention to everything and you'll see the communication. No judgment. Don't go, oh, I spent today trying to see what I could see. I saw nothing. No, just keep doing it. Make it a lifestyle. And then you'll start seeing it. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Nathan. I just saw the question you answered. Yeah, in the ancestral course just below, I talk about the elements and working with them and working with nature because they're part of our ancestry. Thank you, Easter. When we cry, why does water leave out of our eyes? That's a good question. It's a form. When we cry, it is such an important thing. When we cry, because it is a form of release. It is a form of release. It is the way the body expresses an emotional release. It's so the body doesn't hold it. If the body doesn't, so the body doesn't hold it, right? And so that release is important because it's a way of energetically and physically getting rid of something that the body is ready to get rid of, whether it's pain, or an emotional circumstance. The body will also shed a few tears of joy as well. And in that case, it's an expression. In that case, it's an expression. Um, Great Healer Lily, I'm no longer doing those anymore through through guidance, but I do them privately if you're interested. I do readings privately if you're interested. Much more can be gained from that. So I no longer do them. Sorry about that. But you can book a private one. I'm an earth sign. You need the earth. Yeah. You need the earth. We all need the earth. We all need it all. We all need the earth. We need all the signs. But if you're an earth sign, it means you have a greater affinity, of course, yes. So I know what you mean. Can we be protected by divine spirits, beings? How can we speak with the guardians? You must become acquainted with your ancestors. I talk about that here. Who are the ancestors? The ancestors are you and within you at the same time. So when we talk about protection, divine spirits, beings, and all of that, those are your benevolent ancestors. Now I know I said to you earlier that substance abuse most of the time, 99% of that comes from within the ancestry and the bloodline. Those are certain ancestors. And it isn't, we want to get away from good and bad because one of the reasons you came down here along with your spiritual team is to have experiences. And so in this low dimension, you have the widest amount of experience that you can possibly happen and you can possibly have. And the higher you go in dimensions, the less experiences you can have. So the results of that are all kinds of things. And so what we want to do in these end times meaning the end of the old stuff, not the end of you. There's no end to you. Is to now cleanse from all those experiences that we've had from this physical all the way back into your ancestry. And your ancestors are the protectors. And once you build a relationship, a conscious relationship with them, then you don't have any protective questions. Do not ask any of these other beings, archangels and Michael and all this other stuff, because those are fallen beings. What you're asking about is the job of your ancestors, because your ancestors have been here since the beginning of time. They've seen it all. But they will not interfere or intrude in your life unless you bring them there. I recommend you get that course. It will take you to the next level, Alex. I know this off topic, but if you have time, can you explain about the Creator, Mother, Gaia, and could you pin the rest of that, please, somebody? Yes, I can do that, by the way. We are talking about creation. Darkness in the water. That's what was here. Water broke. The water parted. You see? So you can see when we say, when people like me say that you are a microcosm of the universe, we're not saying you're exactly, but you are. You are creation. Somebody, native chick, you said the water broke. The water parted. Without water, life cannot exist. Planets cannot exist. Life itself needs water. So now how we were created here. That's a deep question. Lexi every day. That's a deep question. It's a good one. Um, we, first of all, we were not created. We were born. We were birthed. How is every kind of life brought here on Earth? Or at least highly evolved life. How were you brought here? You were born from your mother. When your mother and your father combined to complete the seed that created you from within. So there's all kinds of stories about how we created by all kinds of beings who we don't even know. Somebody said created from the dirt, and that is true. We do come from the earth because we have all the elements of earth within us. We also have the elements of the universe within us, right? So we are. But then it said women came in the rib of a man, which is not true, because how does everybody come here? Evidence right before us, but we have people who are so brainwashed they believe that nonsense. Really? So just so all the creation stories are nonsense, that's nonsense as well. The evidence that's before us tells us that we're not created from that. We're birthed by the universal mother, which is a being. And there are only two cultures that actually even speak about the divine mother. Two. And there's not even a culture. There's a culture, and then there's a religion. Hinduism and Buddhism, a couple of religions. And all those Eastern religions talk about the universal mother. Who is the true creator of the universe? You see, Jehovah is very jealous of that being. Because outside of earth, see, we create so easily. We bring stuff from nothing. You have no idea how difficult that is and how envious of other beings are of you. Because the divine mother gave you her most precious gift. And we take it for granted. Your ability to create is not just something that can be done everywhere around this universe. And so the divine mother is the true creator. She did not sit down like she built a toy and put some stuff together. She birthed us from her own self. She birthed us from her own self. And with her creative mind, she created the universe. Birthed it all. She birthed this universe as well. That's right. And so we are born from the universal mother. And you want to know how she did it? If you've got a child, the same way you did it is how she did it. You see, she didn't really decide to keep stuff to herself. Because universal mother is a being that sees herself in all of her children. And she doesn't even force us to worship her, and she doesn't want that. We're all a part of this being. And she experiences, you know, they say the universe experiences itself. No, the universe is an intelligence. It don't experience shit. The universe is an intelligence. It isn't a being. It doesn't experience itself in shit. It just gives us a reflection of what we're doing. That's its job, to reflect back to us that which is us. It didn't birth us, and it isn't experiencing through us. The universal mother, she is the great crystal from which we came, and we are the fractals of her. The masculine side, is our divine father. But Source is actually more of an aloof being. Aloof is not the right word. Source plays a role, but he doesn't get that much involved as we think. When we say Source Creator, we should be saying the Divine Mother. That's what we should be saying. We look at the planet, nobody here is going to argue with me that it's feminine. And this is not anti-masculine anything. This is just the way it is. And when we look at the universe, it's feminine. And within it is the feminine and the masculine. And without the masculine, the feminine and the masculine are the same. When it's on this side of this polar spectrum, it's feminine. When it's on this side of this polar spectrum, it's feminine. We're all one. Can you tell us how frequency and manifestation work together with the levels? The level of your frequency determines the quality of your manifestations and the timing of their arrival. How do you know what your frequency is? What's that? What are you talking about, Papa G? I like to break things down in simple English. Otherwise, it's not worth saying. Your frequency is determined by the emotional state that you carry regularly. So if you live in joy, but every once in a while, you visit anger, because all those so-called negative emotions are important too. You need to visit them when it's necessary. Notice the key word in that statement, visit. You need to visit them when you need to visit anger. It's important to visit anger. Find out why it's there. Address it. Embrace it. Accept it. And then take care of the issue that brought it there. If you need to embrace sadness and give it a visit it. It's important. Because through these lower so-called all emotions, they cause us to act in ways that we should. And they cause us to address things properly. If you ignore your negative emotions, you're going to drop down to them. You cannot ignore them, right? But you don't want to live in them. We see what it looks like when someone lives in anger. Nobody wants to be around that. We see what it's like when someone lives in a depressed state. It robs them of the joy of life. And all of these states tell us something. And if we listen to them, then we're all right. They're just telling, hey, look. So we look and we take care of it. And we go back to living in the higher emotions. Joy, peace, love, neutrality, courage. When you are living in those high emotions, they carry a frequency. And those are the frequencies you want to live in. If you want to know what the actual frequency is, go to your internet and go to images and put in there in the search bar frequency of emotions, and you'll see the actual number, because it's actually scientific. It's a number, Like love is 528. 528, and frequency is measured in hertz. Joy, I think, is 540, is higher than love. It'll tell you there. So when you're living there in those frequencies, then your mind operates in a much more profound way than when your mind is placed in a frequency of sadness. So since this is where the low emotions will hurt you if you live there, because your mind is shut down. If you get too low, your mind will shut down and start to work against you. It will become your worst enemy. Just ask somebody who's in depression. Just ask people, just look at people who live in fear, because people who live in fear won't tell you. You say, oh, you're fearful, they'll deny it, but you can just see it in their lives. When you're down at the level of fear, your mind works against you. You ain't manifested much goodness in your life when you're in that. Which is why, what do they do in the news? What does this reality want? To pump you with fear. Why? because your mind is useless. So they want either your mind's working for them or they want it useless. They do that by dropping your frequency and your emotions into the lower half. Sadness, grief, depression, anger, resentment, hatred, cruelty. Your mind will work against you, but it'll still manifest. It'll manifest everything that brings all those things to you. Angry people, if you notice, this is well known. They attract a lot of other angry people because the minds manifest the state that it's in and manifests more of it. That kind of mind is not good for anything. It is basically shut down. So frequency, being in emotional states, which is why I talk about emotion when I talk about manifestation, is important. Hard for me to break the old trauma. Lisa, I don't want to say great statement, but that is, I appreciate you accepting and mentioning that. And when you get to that kind of place, you need to seek assistance. So I recommend coming to us here at All One Consciousness, because we deal with that all the time. And we break that stuff to bring the true you forward, right? If you don't resonate in coming to us, there are certainly other people that can help. But just be sure when it comes to energy work that you go to the right people. You must go to the right people, because energy healing, though it's not spoken about, it's a very intimate thing. You're letting someone into your energetic space, so you must be careful about who you allow there. I have to allow my feelings too. Yes, it's important to allow and accept your feelings, but just without any judgment, see where your emotional state and feelings reside. And then if they reside in a space that is in the, some of the states that I mentioned, then you find out why and you start working there. And that's where your shadow work should begin. And then you start working on those things that tamp your emotions down so that you can start like a balloon floating up to the high frequency emotions, while being grateful to those emotions that because you're not going to see them as bad or anything like that. Get rid of the bad, good thing out of it. You're here and you want to be here. You're here and you want to be here. That's all it is. No judgment and condemnation, especially of yourself. Meditate in water. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. I know that's from a while back, but okay, we're good. I'm going to go back to the bottom here. Deal with some further questions. Oh, you've been journeying a lot and it's been helping you tremendously. Fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned that, Nathan. You want to journal. It's very important for some people because a lot comes through from here to here. There's something that happens with the mind when you journal, especially your dreams. I usually talk about journaling, particularly with dreams. But journaling in general is a fantastic thing. Brings out ideas and teases them and allows your mind to flow. Your mind has a reason to flow. And you want and the minute you pick up that pen and you start doing that, your mind has a reason to start flowing and bringing things out. It's a wonderful thing. I'm located in San Diego. Yeah, we're in San Diego. When I talk about energy work, we can do that long distance, because when it comes to this kind of work, time and distance is not a barrier. It hurts to ascend, honestly. It shouldn't. There's something going on that shouldn't happen. Ascension requires dedication and requires certain things that you have to do. But if it's super painful, you're just not going to want to do it. And there is something going on that needs to be addressed. And that's something that you may need to seek assistance with, Native Chick. I notice most church songs are sad, but they think it's the spirit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a spirit. It's a spirit of sadness to keep their frequency down and to get them to say the words that allow them to be fed upon. When I was, because I grew up in the church, and I left the church, and just a few years ago, as a matter of fact, because Energy Flow is a singer. And she loved gospel music, as many people do. And she used to sing for the Martin Luther King Gospel Choir. And I went to a concert that was at a church. And I hadn't been to church like for years and years and years. And I walked in with a different mindset. And I was like, wow, everything here is about blood sacrifice, sadness, murder, death. You look at the pictures, you've got this guy hanging on a cross. He's got a crown of thorns on his head. He's in pain. He's in suffering. You look across, you see all kinds of things happening. And you go, wow, this place is just a dungeon. But when you were a kid growing up, you saw that all the time. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. And then when you go to some of the big Catholic church, you start to see the symbolism, the demonic activities and words and curses that they utter. A lot of those hymns, they're curses you're uttering. And you're cursing yourself without even knowing it. And inside of it, you know why those churches have the steeples and all of that? Because when you have that shape, when you sit at the bottom of that, it's a crystal. And on the bottom end, it sucks up energy. And on the top end, it gives energy. I created pyramids that I put under our bed because the natural orgone energy is being pulled up from below. And while we're sleeping, that it goes up to help you out. But if you're under that, it's draining your energy. And if you look at all churches, all mosques, well, they have that. The mosques will have this shape. Those are energy. They sap energy. And you see the churches, the big steeples and everything. Unbeknownst to them, because anything shaped like a pyramid, whether it's anything, a piece of wood, anything shaped like a pyramid, a triangle, is a crystal automatically. And you don't want to be under the bottom end of a crystal. You don't want to be here. You don't want that here. You want to be above it to receive the energy, not to have it taken. So when you're in a church, that's happening. That's why half the people fall asleep in church, or they go home and take a nap after church. Hello. If you grew up in church, you know what I'm talking about. That's why they have to have a revival every year. What? Jesus, the Son of God, the life giver, all of that. When do you hear the term revival, peeps? I want someone to say it in the comment. Let's participate with each other. When we hear the term revival? Please. Only need one time. In church. Right. Where else? Where's the other place that we hear the term revival? To revive. Okay, I'll say the term. To revive. Near death, yes. Of course. Where else? Near death is good enough. I'll take a hospital. Yes, I'll take that. A hospital. Why are we using that term for church? You ever thought about that? We have to have a revival. And what's the revival for? The revival is to revitalize people. It's to revive the members in the church. Why do you need to be revived? Hello? Yeah, because your energy, and they have to do that every year, because your energy is being sapped every time you step in there. And it gets just such so to the point that you're flagging. And they must give something back to the members. Because that's supposed to be the place where you are reborn and given life and all this kind of stuff. Well, the natural evidence says otherwise. There's no such thing as a dead spirit. What they have is they are giving the energy to these entities. Remember I talked about the draconian style entities that introduce religion? They feed on your energy. And these places called churches are places where your energy are fed upon. It's also where your ancestors are roped in and bound. So a lot of people say these generational curses they're having and they're talking about stuff they did. Most of these generational curses are placed on people in church over the many thousands of years. Okay? So that is what we are awakening to. That is what we are awakening to. So someone just said it's not God's fault. No, it's our responsibility for giving our energy away to a vampiric spirit. That some call God. Okay, we're the creators, not any God. So it is our fault for giving our energy away to vampiric spirit and energies. But even that's a part of the experience. Because in order for you to know who you are, one of the running themes on this channel is discovering who you are. Discovering who, I say it all the time. I even said it earlier, defy the taboo against finding out who you are. But for you to know who you are, you must know of the other, whatever the other is. For you to know yourself, you must know the other, and then you can know yourself better. So now that you know the other, you spiritually awaken. And I always say you spiritually awaken to nothing other than yourself. Because you fell asleep on yourself for many of us, many lifetimes. And so when we wake back up, who are we waking up to? We're not waking up to anything other than ourselves. Because we have experienced the other and we now know better. There's no such thing as a good church. There's no such thing as a place that takes your energy and gives nothing back. No such thing. The church is here. It's not a building. The temple, not the church, the temple. The most important piece of creation on this planet is here. Not in a building. Not in a building. So don't tell me anything about good churches. The only temple worth spending time and discovering and building and expanding is this one. For the true creator is not in any church anywhere out there. The true creator is within you and is you at the same time. You must know that you are the creator. Not in an egoic way. And not the creator is what you see in the mirror, but know that this is the extension of the creator. in a limited body, in a limited and finite experience, while also being the creator that is outside and inside of this experience. The part of you that never perishes, never dies. The part of you that created and animated this body. That part of you is also in you and is you at the same time. Your benevolent ancestors that represent your spiritual, the ones they say are demons, those, they are you in the spiritual, and you are them in the physical. Neither one of those aspects of you are interested in any kind of church, because it's all here within you. By the way, I have every leverage, Diana, to say that there's no good church. I was born and raised the son of a minister, a Baptist, Pentecostal. I've been to all of them. Catholic, christened in the Catholic Church, grew up in the Pentecostal Baptist Church, left that, went to many other cults and systems. They're all the same. They're all the same. If you think they're different, it's because you don't recognize that they're all, in their differences, just lipstick on a pig. How about doing the sign of the triangle with your hands while involuntarily while meditating? That's something people do all the time, and it's a symbol. And many people use the symbol, and they have their different meanings. But if you, in your innocence in meditation, are doing that symbol, it's okay. It's okay. This also represents the feminine. Now, as I'm saying, other people might have their own little signs, their own little nonsense. But universally, this represents the feminine. I don't follow anybody's teachings. I follow my own. You might need Jesus' teachings, but what gives you the right and the audacity to tell me that I need them? Keep them to yourself. It's okay. They all mimic each other also. Yes, they do. They do. You need only yourself. You need only your spirit. Because we've experienced the other in the teachings of all these different other people. Look where the planet is with all these teachings from all these religions, all these belief systems. Da, 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 da. I can't pin my question. I don't know. Sometimes, JC, sometimes that happens. Yeah, post it and then an energy flow will try pinning it. We're all supposed to have our own story. That's right. Because while you're out there messing around with all these other teachers, you're the core of your inner being, the true power, the one that all of these belief systems and religions are trying to replace. There was a time before you were born when you had the conversation with your divine self. Right? Which is you. It's weird, but of course, still you. And your divine self said to you, your spirit said to you, the matrix that you're going to down there is corrupt. So corrupt that it might cause you to even forget that I exist. And you said, please do everything in your power should I ever forget who I am, myself, you. You're like this. And now you're down here in this reality. And the forgetfulness has been rampant. And yes, you have all those couple who have just come onto this app and this live who want to help you in your forgetfulness, pull you away from yourself and send you back to the other. Because they all know who you are. All the deities, all the beings that are manipulating these people walking in everywhere, just repeating nonsense. Those beings controlling those, they know who you are. They know your spirit. And they want to replace your spirit because they're envious and jealous of the true self, of the true you. And if you are here right now, you're in the process of remembering. And that process doesn't end, by the way. You will keep remembering who you are because you're more than any epic ever written. And all of those beings that send their little minions to places like this, telling you to go elsewhere, all of them, they want to replace you. They want to replace your spirit because they know that you are the creator of it all. You, my friend, just need to remember. And use family to dress. Family is one of the powerful tools used to pull you away. That's why I say, I used to dance around it, but I say, you know what? If your family does not cooperate with your agenda, bye. They're not your family. They're instruments to keep you lost down here. Some of you went in there to free up and cleanse the bloodline. That's why you decided to be born in it. You didn't decide to go in there to fall asleep and play the game with them. You went there to rock the boat. So you're not going to be the favorite. You're not going to be the favorite. Right? And you're not going to feel good in there either because you're not meant to feel good amidst a bunch of sickness. You're not supposed to be comfortable in the midst of sickness. You're there. You're the cure. You are my sunshine. Thank you, Unspoken Dialogue. I still didn't see JC's thing get posted.
I just asked him to DM me and I can tell you.
Okay, good.
The question was how to break grief.
Oh, how to break grief. The question is, how do you break grief?
Well, the thing is, people don't want you to grieve.
Yeah, you need to grieve. Grief is an emotional state that we need to experience. Yes, if they would need, but we're not meant to stay in grief. And so, without knowing exactly what the grief is related to, I must tell you that the reason why grief is natural. Pain is a part of life, but when we stay in pain, then it turns to suffering. The reason why one might grieve is because of a belief about the situation that has happened. Death is often the biggest thing associated with grief. And so if you understand and understand that death is a transition, it's actually a graduation, and that I'm talking about death here, and that death is something that is not final, and that once one dies, it's only the body that perishes, which we all know is going to perish anyway, but it is the spirit that stays alive throughout eternity. And if you know that you can communicate with the spirit of the one that has passed, you see, passed is the right word, passed from one plane of existence to another. That's why I use the word passing, because that's actually what has happened. You can communicate and still have a relationship, a healthy relationship with the spirit of the one who has passed. Then you'll know that there's no need to grieve. Now, I say healthy because in some cases there has to be a departure. But even that, you know that you're one day going to also pass as well, and that the communication, the relationship can then again be transformed, and that you are here to build yourself, to discover yourself. And often those who pass in the background help and assist you in doing that. Then it's much easier to leave the grief. But if you're grieving, you must release the thing that is anchoring the grief. Whatever is anchoring the grief, you must release it. And often that's hard to do and difficult to do on your own. Especially if you've been holding on to it for years, it's hard to do on your own. And so you ask for assistance. And assistance will come in whichever way is most appropriate. You ask of it. You have conversations with your subconscious mind. And you say, please send me the assistance I need. Might be in the form of a person. Might be all one consciousness, Papa Guru and Aralia. It might be someone else. It might be something that comes along. It might be a place that you travel to that does it. Just be open to whatever that answer is. You have got to open all your chakras. Oh, that's nonsense. I'm not even going to address that. $144,000 freaks. Nah. Folks, don't pay attention to that stuff. East Side 82. Don't pay attention to that stuff. You know that the key to your greatness is within your spirit, not any chakras and nonsense. Yeah, but I address it for those who are there because I don't want people to buy into that. We don't die, period. Yes. They use the phone for everything but research on the Bible. Yeah. My family is stuck in religion. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Because you are not, you don't have any right to tell them what to do with their lives. I'm loving them while they are here with boundaries, but I'm going my own way. Yeah. Now see, that's the right attitude. You're not hating them. You're not condemning them. You're just going, okay, I love you guys, but I got to go do my own thing. See y'all. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So, in the springtime, because I'm going to stay true to the title, I'll answer every question. In the springtime, we're supposed to plant our seeds. Now, you guys hear this a million times. Oh, yeah. But no, this year, it's important. For us to really, because people say, oh, how? I'm telling you how. And then there's summertime. The summertime rolls around. And that's when we maintain the fields. We're going to use farming analogy. So you just planted all the seeds of your manifestation in springtime. And you till the soil, you make sure the weeds don't kill what you have planted. You water, you tend to your garden. You don't go on vacation after you planted, right? You'll come back to dead plants. In other words, if you decide to just leave everything, oh yeah, man, and you don't pay attention. Now I'm using this analogy because it's important because everybody can understand that. So once you planted your seeds and they're gone, you don't go off running off doing something else. You spend the time nurturing your manifestations and the bringing in of the manifestations. Summertime. Literally, the universe is supporting that, or rather the law of rhythm, because I don't like to use, people just like to use this term, general term, the universe. I like to give you specifics. It's not the universe. It's one of the universal laws, and one of the most important ones because it's in everything. All of the laws are in everything, but all of the laws contain within them the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm is in all 7 universal laws. Not necessarily the other way around. People ask me which is the most important one. I always say the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm is the most important law. That's my opinion, by the way. Don't go saying, they're all important. You gotta have all of them. But the law of rhythm dictates when you do things. And governs all the other laws. And there's no way around it. Right? So you till that soil. That's when you start. Then September comes around, fall. You harvest. You harvest in the fall. You harvest quickly because harvest doesn't last all fall long, right? Harvest lasts a certain amount of time. And then you put away the seeds because you don't eat the seeds so that you can plant again. Farm analogy is the best thing to use for this.
It's so funny, I'm just seeing what your shirt was.
Oh, by the way, Energy just pointed out that I was wearing this shirt. I had no idea. I did not wear this for this live. Growth. And I didn't even notice that this is what I was wearing. I was so clueless.
Because it's backwards.
What it says on the bottom, I forgot. Grow through what you go through. Grow through what you go through. And then it's a great time to go on vacation. After you harvest, you can go on vacation, take a break. Time of rest. Winter time. You live off the harvest of what you've planted. These are just an analogy of how the law of rhythm works. So if you plant your seeds in January, when it's middle of winter, because the man told you that's the beginning of the new year, don't go wondering why you can't stick to any of your resolutions. It's practically a joke. Everybody knows this. That's why. Because you can't plant seeds in the middle of winter. It's also a good time to cleanse the house. See, all those things, yes. Yeah. All right. Let us do this now. Let us do this thing that we do every live. And some of you are familiar, some of you are not. This is where I talk about the mind, and we talked today about manifestations. And we talked about using the mind, and I did talk about the right mind, the right brain, the left brain, all that kind of stuff. For those who were here earlier, so how would you advise to cleanse your house? JC, you got the questions tonight. First thing is you physically clean your house, because the physical nature of your house is indicative of the spiritual nature of your house. First thing you do is clean it. First thing you do is clean it. Physically. You get it? And even if you want to rearrange furniture, every once in a while you want to rearrange the furniture in your room, furniture in the house, it's the best time to do it as well. It'd fall into that category. Then energetically, this is Papa Guru style. Energetically, you sit and you take a glass of water representing the physical and the spiritual. You take fire, because fire is a what? A cleanser as well. Burns away the old so that the new can burgeon. In the forest, fires happen to burn away the old growth so that the old growth doesn't stifle the new growth. You ever notice how quickly forest recovers after fire? Some places, especially those who have conifers, require fire for the conifers to survive and propagate. Conifers are like cone trees, pine trees, those kind of things. So you take water, you take fire, and you take a living plant representing the earth. And you sit with your ancestors and your higher self, and you ask for the house to be cleansed and to be energetically brought to the point where it is a welcoming place for your ancestors and your own spirit. You don't worry about anything else. Oh, welcoming for other people. No. All aspects of yourself, not just your physical self. And you conduct this ritual, and you don't say anything, but you just talk like we're talking. Your higher self and your higher self don't require all these silly rituals people tell you need to use. You just talk to them. And you bring in those elementals of water, earth, through the plants, and fire. You don't need air and ether. You're the ether. You represent the ether, and the air is everywhere. And you do that, and you're good. And then you ask the water where it wants to go afterwards. You don't blow the fire out. You damp it out, and you're good. That's how you do it. You could just do a physical clearing. You could just do an energetic clearing like we're going to do too. But I'm the only one that does this kind of clearing. Hi, Susie. Thanks for being here. We're about to do a guided contemplation. If you want to participate, and you don't have to know anything in particular, because I'm going to guide everyone through this. This is something we do every live, and many of the members in the community are here, know how to do this, but we welcome you, and you don't have to know or anything of that nature, but this is going to be something that assists you, because I've been on for over an hour and a half, but you're here, and you're here now because this is the time for you to be here. All right, so let's get started. Now, we talk about the power of the mind, or I talk about the power of your mind, but I also want you to demonstrate the power of your mind, and we do it together. We do it together. And so the first thing we want to do here is have an intention for yourself, and have an intention for something you want to see happen in the world that is positive and that is for the highest good of all. Right? Now, if you're not sure about what to have an intention on or about, no problem. This mind here is limited, but you also have the unlimited mind, which is also your mind. And we leave those intentions to the unlimited side of who you are, the infinite mind, if you're not sure. Right? And so before we start, I want to just do a quick mini clearing to clear any energies, persons, or things that are not here in the highest good for themselves or others. And any vampiric energies, any energies that are not here for the highest good of others, must leave or must be dissolved or completely made feckless. For only that which is in the highest good of all involved is going to be allowed, and nothing else. And let the space be a place that supports all the beautiful and wonderful intentions, and let this environment support that, and indeed the universe. Now, once you've had all your intentions, you can get started. We're going to get started right now, and I'm going to talk you through this. Right? Now, the work of this guided contemplation, and it's not a guided meditation, it's contemplation, because we're involving the mind. And meditation is the art of doing nothing. The art of giving the mind a break. We are involving the mind in this, because we're doing. And you don't do anything in meditation. So that's why I call it a guided contemplation. So, in this work, we're working with the heart, the energy of the heart, and the energy of the stomach. People talk about chakras all day, but the most powerful work, the engine that drives manifestation, the engine that drives clearing, the engine that drives the ascension process is here. The seat of your emotions. Here. So we work with the heart and the gut brain, the energetic gut brain. So in your intentions, you want to have great emotion behind your intention, because that's the fuel that drives it. All right? And we're not working with this head because this is for the physical reality. And if we're up here with it, we're one step removed from the real work. Healing work, manifestation work, inner work, shadow work should all be done from the heart and the gut brain. Right? And so we're going to demonstrate that tonight. Now, the first step we want to do is we want to just imagine that from that intelligence in the gut, we have roots. Because what we're going to do now is connect to the planet, because she's the one facilitating everything here. And so imagine that there are roots coming down the legs, down through the feet. And these roots are going to go in and connect with the planet, Mother Gaia. Now, if you have people above you, below you, just with your intention, send those roots away, maybe towards the wall, because you don't want to be connecting through people's energy fields. You might feel uncomfortable doing that and wondering why, and they might too. So we don't want to do that. So just with your intention, veer them away, maybe towards the wall. With your intentions being that they go unabated and unobstructed and connect to our wonderful planet, Mother Gaia. And while that's happening, we want to just put the body at ease with just gentle breathing. Pause breath, and I'll demonstrate it here. Breathe in, and breathe out. Just relax the body. Because we want the body to know that we're doing work here, and that if it needs to release anything as well, that we are going to support any releasing of any energies that no longer serve. So that that which does can take their place. Now, we're also going to connect our heart to the heart of the planet. And you do that by imagining a line curving to the heart of the planet. And you do this with imagination. M-A-G-I, imagination. Magic is in that word. This is the seat of your power, your imagination. And with your imagination, you imagine that curved line connecting lovingly and gratefully to the heart of Mother Gaia. And then coming back around and reconnecting with yours through the back and creating a full circuit. And we give gratitude and thanks to the planet. Thanks and gratitude to the planet. And now we double down on making this space, this energetic space, a supportive environment for all involved and for the highest good of all. No harm to self or anyone. So all intentions must be for the highest good of everyone, with benevolence to all involved. All beings. And we now allow the divine that is within us, nowhere else but within us, to be involved. And we connect to the divine that is within us, which is us, which is the Divine Mother, Divine Source. And now we place all of these wonderful intentions into this clearing, so that it is to the benefit of all on a personal level, and also stretching out to affect in a very positive fashion world events, because your mind is powerful to affect world events. It's powerful enough to affect world events. Your mind. One mind. And so we bring all those intentions in. And we bring in all bonds, vows, agreements that stand in the way of these intentions, any energies, doubts, and malevolence that would impede, obstruct, or interfere. We energetically clear them with the great energy of the central sun and the divine. And we transmute them, which is to change them, into an energy that will support our intentions. We transmute, we change. We don't destroy, we don't kick out, we don't do any of that old stuff. We are the masters. We take any energy, no matter what it is, and we transmute it to work in our benefit, because energy cannot be destroyed. so we transmute it for the highest good and benefit of all involved. That is true power. Not the love of power, but the power of love itself. And so we bring in all that is in the highest good of every living being involved in this reality and all others. And that includes all energies and frequencies related. And let us do this on every timeline and temporal location, and every dimension, level, realm, density, reality. On every universe, multiverse, omniverse, infinite verse. And let healing be brought to every single person here. And let us create a divine connection where your higher self, please allow your higher self, only you, nothing else outside, only you, your higher self, to light the spark within your heart. The spark of creation. The spark that will transform the planet. You transforming the planet through the spark of your own spirit. Just by existing. So it is. And let this be done in past, present, future. All time, no time, anti-time, subtime. Space, all space, no space, anti-space, subspace. Everywhere and nowhere and throughout all parallel lives and existences. And we also invite all of the beautiful inner children that are the original aspects of you and still are. For this wonderful being within you is not just a child. Way more than a child is that being. Now, from the sovereign authority of all of our core inner beings, the core of your inner being is your spirit, the creative force of the universe that is within you. You're no small thing, my friend. Don't let them lie to you. First of all, you can't stop them really from lying to you, but you don't have to believe them. And from the sovereign authority of our core inner beings, we declare that all the facets and aspects that were mentioned, and even those that were not, are made fully, completely, and thoroughly null and void. We remove all permissions, malevolent and negative permissions, from our being, whether we gave them knowingly or unknowingly, willingly or unwillingly. We reclaim all the energy that is ours. And what is ours, and what needs to be transmuted, muted, and sent to source is sent there. We do not send energy back to any being because that can be harmful. But we stand in our spiritual authority in that any and all beings involved in malevolence, involving anyone here, be sent to source, be sent to the divine. For they are not going to be allowed to do that to any other being. And we do so lovingly with no malice, because the masters just say and it's done. It is said and it is done. No malice, no judgment, no condemnation. We let the divine deal with beings in the way that the divine sees best. And again, the divine is you. in all existence. But our physical minds do not need to involve itself in those activities because we have work to do here. Now, from the sovereign authority of our core inner beings again, we dissolve, we dispel, and we disintegrate from every level and plane of our being, all related imprints, implants, overlays, cords, belief systems, self-beliefs, self-perceptions, feelings and emotions that do not serve, and any other system, energy, or frequency related. Let this be done for the highest good of all, with divine harmony and timing, and the most benevolent outcomes possible. So this clearing is an invocation. And an invocation is, if you look this up, you'll see that it's conflated with prayer, but it's not a prayer. It's not a meek begging. It's an invoke. If you look up the word invoke, from which the word invocation comes from, it is declaring. It is standing in your spiritual power and bringing forth that is which is divine in the highest good of all, with no middlemen or middle entities involved. We are responsible for everything because the power is within us. Your feet are burning, Lee. Just keep connecting, because that's a healing process, and in healing often there's a lot of heat. Something needs to go, heat. And after this, I'm being going to tell you, after it's done, if you can get into some water, salt, if you take a salt bath, Lily, it'll be great for you. Oh wow, Susie, that's a good thing. The last one we did it, we had someone say the same thing. Burping is a sign that something is leaving through air. That is very good, because the body is the one that's doing the releasing. The body is the one that holds everything. So if you have healing and the body is releasing through flatulence, air, whatever it is that's leaving came in through air. So the body normally pushes it out and sends it out in the same way that it received it. That's wonderful. By the way, anyone still in the process, you don't have to come out because we've ended. You come out when you're ready. Oh, thanks for that reassurance, Tasha. Thanks for passing that on. It's good for us to share with each other. That way we know that we're not alone. Thank you, Marie. You're welcome. Yeah, after work, yes, Lily. After work, no worries. You're welcome, Susie. See, you came at the right time. Sometimes we think we're late for stuff, but no, you came at the right time. By the way, you guys, I'm back tomorrow. We're back. Tomorrow, Energy Flow and I, she's playing the healing flute right now. I don't know if you can hear it. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Oh, can you hear the flute? Because if you can, I'll just I'll be quiet. Let you hear it. Thank you, babe. That was a new song. I never heard that one before. All right, you guys. By the way, if anyone is still interested in spiritual mentoring and coaching, we have many spots still available. And we have many spots available for the one-on-one spiritual coaching and mentoring. If you guys are interested, you can just DM me, and we can get a free discovery call scheduled for you. Make sure it's a good fit. And of course, if there's nothing else, we will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. 11:11. That's right, Yolanda. You guys have a great night.